Hello, everybody. You're in for a treat. Shani Womack. Come on, give her a warm welcome here. A dry, warm welcome.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around through the rain. I know you may be a little damp, a little soggy, a little cold, but hopefully the songs and the music will lift your spirits and warm you up. If you want to dance, if you want to sing along, feel free. You are welcome to be a part of the show. All right, let's get started. Oh, I'm from Flint, Michigan. I forgot to say that. Hey. And I brought my son, Ande Womack, with me. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him in a few minutes. All right, I'm ready.
Touchdown, I won.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
We can do that one, but More Love is supposed to be first. But that's okay. We'll do whatever you play. Whatever you play, I'll sing it. More Love. Oh, okay. All right.
Hold on 1 second. We're going to see if we can play it.
That's all right.
Yeah, that won't be read on this computer.
Okay, go ahead. The first song he's going to play then is Superman. And my son Ande was the inspiration for this song. I was listening to different tracks, and I was trying to write some music for my first album. This was like 2010, 2011. And he was about 3 years old. And so we're riding in the car, and we're listening to tracks. And I said, Ande, I want to write a song. And I was giving him ideas. I sing a little bit. And he was like, no, he didn't like any of it. He said, why don't you write a song about a superhero? And I said, wow, I never thought about that. To write a song about a superhero, it never crossed my mind. So then he started to tell me his favorite superhero was Spider-Man. And then he liked the Hulk, and he asked me who was my favorite superhero. And I said, you know what? I always loved Superman. So that is what resulted. This song is what resulted from that conversation. Superman.
Touchdown, I won.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
It doesn't matter. My daddy's stronger than yours.
Oh, no, my dad's stronger than your dad.
My daddy's stronger than both of your daddies. No, my daddy's stronger.
No, my dad's stronger.
Well, my daddy's stronger than Superman.
Hey, Daddy, it's me.
I've always been a daddy's girl. Thought my father was the strongest man in this whole wide world. Took care of the family by working long hours in a factory. Taught me many life lessons, what a blessing, yeah. And when the other kids would treat me wrong, I tell them that my daddy's strong. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. Undeniable, invincible, he's the ultimate superhero. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. Maybe it's hard for you to relate to the message I'm giving you, 'cause your biological wasn't there for you. Struggling with his own issues, he broke his promises, broke your heart in the process. It's time for a reunion. Let me introduce you to the real one. He's faithful, kind, and true. He'll never turn his back on you. Go ahead and embrace him. Get to know him, 'cause he's your daddy too. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. Undeniable, invincible, he's the ultimate superhero. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. Finally I realized even the best earthly fathers are just small examples of the Almighty. My heavenly Father, he's incredible, does the impossible. More amazing than Spider-Man. No other superhero does what God can. Master of the universe, he created heaven and earth. Submit to the King of Kings. Experience the joy he brings. Oh yeah. My daddy's stronger than Superman. Oh yeah. Undeniable, he's invincible, he's the ultimate superhero. My daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than, my daddy's stronger than Superman. This is the part where you can join in. We're gonna just say la, la 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 la. La 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 la. Sing it out. La 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 la. Come on. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 la. La 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 la. All right, you guys sound good. That was okay. I know you're just getting warmed up, but I know later on you're gonna sing out more. All right, let's see what's next. Give Me the Chance to Love You, I believe is the next song. And I wrote this about my husband. First time that I saw your face, I knew it had to be God's grace. Your eyes captivated me, your smile motivated me to walk over and to say hello. And after that the conversation just flowed. Your sense of humor and sincerity, I was amazed by what you said to me. Give me the chance. Oh, give me the chance. I must admit I had my doubts and fears. Been hurt before, didn't wanna hurt again. But I decided to let my guard down and trust that you would always be around. We shared our stories, dreams, hopes, and fears. That was when it all became clear. It felt like we were long lost friends who never wanted to be apart again. Give me the chance to love you. Give me the chance to love you, yeah. We started talking about some serious things, like commitment and a wedding ring. Cut off all ties with your past girlfriends. Told your boys your player days had come to an end. 'cause you had finally found the one. Saw direction from the Spirit, Father, Son. You held my hand as you got on one knee. Look me in my eyes and you said to me, give me the chance to love you. Oh, give me the chance to love you. And now you got me saying, give me. I'm so glad you gave me the chance to love you. Give me the chance. I'm so glad I got the chance. Oh, 'cause you're the love of my life. Oh, 'cause you're the love of my life. I'm so glad that I got the chance, 'cause you're the love of my life. I'm so glad I got the chance to love you. Yeah, oh, so glad you gave me the chance. Thank you. Whew. Now, as I said, I'm from Flint, Michigan. And thank you. If you know anything about Flint, I'm sure you've heard about the water crisis there and about a whole city that was poisoned by lead. Some people poisoned more than others, depending on where you lived at. Some of the older neighborhoods with the oldest infrastructure, generally where the poorest people lived, a lot of those people were black and brown people. They were the ones who had the highest concentrations of lead in the water. So when this happened, oh my goodness, I was so distraught because I have 3 sons. And luckily they weren't babies, they were a little older. But you still worry because you read all the headlines and the reports, and I worked in the schools all my life, and you read these reports about what can be the effects on not just children, but even adults and the elderly who've been exposed to lead, things like brain damage and learning disabilities and anemia and skin rashes, and there's a ton of things, deafness. Oh my goodness, there's a list that goes on and on and on. And so as I studied and learned more about lead and what it could do to a person, I was sitting with some of my friends one day, and they're all artists, and so we were talking about, like, what do we do? You know, because we felt as though we all had been violated. You know, we just trusted that the city and the municipalities would make sure we had clean, safe drinking water. But when that didn't happen, we just felt this level of betrayal, and then we wondered, was this an accident? Was this on purpose? How could this happen? If it's your job to know that the water is safe, how could this happen? And then the governor denied that this was happening. People cried out, people brought bottles of water. There was something wrong. There was an outcry, but there was no response for quite a while. And so we're talking about what can we do? You know, we've gone to Lansing, we've protested, we've been to City Hall, and one of my good friends, her name is Mama Soul. She's a great hip-hop artist. If you haven't heard of her, you need to look her up. But she said, we'll just do what we've always done. She said, if you rap, rap. If you sing, sing. If you write poems, write poems. But give voice to what is going on here. Document this and let the world know what is going on here in Flint. And so from that, I wrote an album, actually, because I had so many emotions going on in my mind, so much, you know, things from anger to worry to stress to pain. So I ended up creating a project called To Flint with Love. And so I'm going to do one of the poems from that project, and I'm going to do a song. I think first you've got the song, Water Woes. As long as I can recall, parents did their best to protect us from water that was often suspect. Now corporations use the river and the city as a dumping ground. Then they moved away, leaving their workers' families to stay in a contaminated playground. For a long, long time, we've had these water woes, water woes, water woes. Is this how it had to be to gentrify our city? Must the poor pay the price for water woes? In our particular state, surrounded by the Great Lakes, there is water everywhere, but in Flint, not a drop to drink. Oh, child, you better stop and think. I got these water woes. In this peculiar state, we find ourselves living in. Poison flows from the taps. Our housing prices are flat. But where can I go? I'm feeling so low. I got these water woes, water woes, water woes. Is this how it had to be to gentrify our city? Must the poor pay the price for water woes? Finally, a state of emergency. Finally, some sense of urgency in this man-made tragedy. Looks awfully like a conspiracy, but God bless the children, and don't let them suffer due to these foolish water woes, water woes, water woes. Is this how it had to be to gentrify our city? Must the poor pay the price? Must the poor pay the price? Must we all pay the price for water woes? Water woes. Thank you. That's a hard one to do. All right. Next, I'm going to do, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. Next, I'm going to do a poem called Flintstones. And it's on a bit of a lighter note. It celebrates some of the good things in the history of our city, and it looks forward to the future, to better days. All right. Flint, Michigan, a city where the people call themselves Flintstones. So you know we gotta be stone cold. We have a hardness and a durability like gemstones. We are precious in all our jewel tones. Our hearts beat to the drum of originality. Progress flows through our veins. Determination resides in our bones. We're hard-working folks, striving for more, for better, for a change. But too often, we feel the strain of racial inequality, and we're left to wrestle with the injustice of poverty. But don't feel bad for us, because we Flintstones, we may be down, but we're definitely not out. Not so long as we don't forget what we're all about. Flint was a home to the Cherokee and Ojibwe nations. We were a rest stop for the Africans, an underground railroad station. From lumbering to automotive factories, we were captains of industry. From the Fair Housing Act's goal of integration to the UAW sit-down strikes, we led the nation. And even in education, Flint community schools were the first to create safer, stronger communities through recreation. Now that ought to start some conversations and help us to chart a course towards a new destination. But don't be confused. Our destinies, they're fused. Mutuality and respect, unity, they've got to be the key. Mercy, mercy me. Can it be? Is there still greatness in these Flintstones? Is there still greatness in the stones that were rejected? In the stones that were neglected? Ah, yes, I see it. I see a spark. It's in our hearts. It's in our minds. It is our creativity that will allow us to dictate who and what we will be. Because we are hard as flint. We are strong as flint. You see, we are Flintstones. Woo! All right. Next, I'm gonna share a story. I was here yesterday and I was talking with a few people and they were asking me what I do, and I said, well, I'm a songwriter. I write some poems. I don't say I'm a poet. I don't know if I'm that good at it, but I write some poems and I tell stories. One of my favorite things to do is to tell stories. My mother is a Jamaican immigrant, and she came here looking for a better life, and so I was the first person in my family to be able to have an opportunity to pursue this so-called American dream, to go to college and to do all the things my mother could only imagine in Jamaica. She lived up in the mountains in a little place called Pennington, what they call the bush. It's a very remote place. When we went there, she took us back to see where our family is from. We could only drive part way up the mountain, and then we had to get out and hike the rest of the way because there was no road to take you all the way where she lived. And she had no running water and no electric lights. They had to go to the river every morning to fetch water and to wash their clothes. They took showers under a waterfall. It's a beautiful place, but they were poor. According to American standards, they were dirt poor. And the way that they would make money is that they farmed their land, and they raised goats and chickens and different animals there. And everywhere you look, even to this day, there's things growing. There's banana trees and mango trees. There's coffee beans on bushes growing. Oh, it's beautiful. But my grandmother eventually got to come from Jamaica because my mother was here. I guess we were a part of this chain migration thing that, our president's trying to stop. But he didn't stop us. So thank God he couldn't stop us. So my mother came, and she brought all her siblings, and she brought her mother with her eventually. And so when my grandmother came to America, I was 10 years old. That was the first time I ever got to spend time with her. She lived with us. And she brought these beautiful stories with her. These Anansi stories that she shared with us. And every night I would just love to sit up and listen to her tell stories about Jamaica and what life was like. And I love the Anansi stories. So that's what I'm going to share with you tonight is a Anansi story. This one, I don't have my props with me, so you just have to use your imagination. This is about Anansi and common sense. Now, if you don't know anything about Anansi, he is a little spider, but he's more than a spider. He is a spider with magical powers. He can change his form. He can turn into a human being if he wants to. And then he can change right back into a spider when it's convenient. So oftentimes when you hear these stories, it's about a spider, but you'll picture a man as I'm talking. And Anansi is known for being very mischievous. He's always getting into trouble. He's always doing things that seem to backfire on him. But we're able to learn some very important lessons through the adventures of Anansi. So this is Anansi in common sense. And what I'm going to do is I'll do it in a little bit of the patois that my grandmother spoke in. I don't need the music yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. I'm sorry, no yet. I'll do that next. Not yet. So, one day, Brother Anansi was sitting down under one tree, and he began to think up a plan. He began to hatch a magnificent plan. Anansi had dreamed about how he could become rich and famous one day. He always hoped that everyone in the whole world would know his name. Anansi not only wanted to become famous, but he wanted to become rich. And now he had the most magnificent of plans. Anansi sat and he thought about it hard, and he said, you know what I will do? People always struggle and try to understand how to make a good decision, how to make a right choice. What I would do is I would travel all around the world, and I will collect up all of the knowledge and all of the common sense and all of the wisdom, all of the good advice. I would collect it all, and I would bring it back here to my home. And if people want to know how to make a right choice, they will have to come and see me, and I will make them pay dearly. Anansi thought this was one good plan. So he began his journey all around the world. He went everywhere. He went to small towns, and he went to big cities. He went to government buildings. He went to office buildings. He went to hospitals. He went to schools. He went all around the world to collect up all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of the common sense that he could find. Everywhere he went, he talked to all of the people, and they shared with him words of wisdom. They shared with him good advice. And Anansi was so excited. He began to collect up all the common sense, and he stuck it into his pockets, front pockets, back pockets. He stuck it down into his shirt. And then he began to run out of places to put the common sense. So Anansi said, Lord, this is not good. What shall I do? So he got a bag. He went and got one of those new plastic grocery store bags, and he began to stuff in all of the wisdom, all of the common sense, all of the good advice, all of the proverbs, all of the wisdom. And then before too long, the bag became so full and heavy, Anansi began to drag it along the road. And before too long, as he stuffed in one more bit of common sense, the bottom of the bag broke away. The bottom of the bag fell open, and all of the wisdom, all of the knowledge, all of the common sense fell out on the ground. Anansi said, this is no good. What shall I do? So then he got another brilliant plan. Nancy is so smart. He was so proud of himself. He said, I know I will get one sturdy, one big, everlasting calabash, and I will put all of the wisdom, all of the common sense, all of the good advice in the calabash. Do you guys know what a calabash is? Anybody know what a calabash is? It's a squash. That's right. It's a big squash, and they dry it, right? So it's a hard shell on the outside. Sometimes people decorate the outsides. They carve beautiful designs on the outside. What else do they do with calabashes? Turn them into musical instruments. Exactly, yes, beautiful instruments. So Anansi thought he would get a calabash, one big, enormous, everlasting calabash, and he cut off the top, scooped out the inside, and he began to stuff in all of the wisdom, all of the common sense, all of the good advice. And he dragged it on home with him after he went all around the world, talking to everyone who could. He dragged the calabash home, and when he got to his yard, he began to try and figure out what was a good place to hide all of the common sense. So he looked around, he walked up and down, he looked everywhere, and he saw one tall tree, and he said, maybe that would be good, but I'm so tired from my journey, I don't know if I have the strength to climb the tree. So he thought, maybe I'll stick it under a bush. And he tucked the calabash under a bush, and he began to walk away. As he walked away, he said, wait, no, this is no good. Once I go to sleep tonight, someone could come and steal all of the wisdom, all of the common sense, all of the knowledge that I traveled all around the world and worked hard to collect. No, this is no good. This will not do. So then he thought, maybe I could dig a deep, deep hole and bury the wisdom in the ground. But no. That wouldn't work, because when people come, I would have to dig it back up again, and it would be a lot of digging and undigging and re-burying, and no, I can't do it. I can't bother. So finally, he went back to his first plan. He looked up at the tall tree. Now, Anansi was a spider, so he had 8 arms. So he decided he would climb the tree. So he had this big calabash, and he put it here on his belly. And he took a cord, he took a string, and he tied the calabash around his neck, and he tied another string around his waist and around the middle, the big middle of the calabash. He tied the rope around there till it was good and secure. And he said, all right, I'm ready to climb the tree. And so he began to try and climb, but he could barely reach the tree because the calabash was here in between him and the tree. And he tried, oh my goodness, he reached his arm. He could barely get the tree, and he reached around, and he started to climb the tree, but it was such a struggle. Oh my goodness, even with 8 arms, he began to reach around, and he just barely was inching off the ground, and he looked down. He was only this high off the ground. So he continued to struggle and climb the tree. Oh, Lord have mercy. And the sun began to beat down on his head, and he said, Lord, oh, the sun had me. I can't take it, but I must continue, because once I get the calabash into the top of the tree, people will have to come and see me if they want to know how to make a good decision. And I will give them the wisdom and the common sense to do it, and they will pay me dearly, and I will be rich. So he continued to struggle and climb up the tree. By the time he was halfway up the tree, he was sweating profusely, and he thought he heard a little voice calling out to him, Brother Anansi, what y'all do? He looked down. It was one licker bitty gal, about 3, who was bothering him. He said, go away, gal. Can't you see I'm busy? She said, but Brother Anansi, what are you doing? Go away, child. I'm busy. And he continued to try to struggle. And she said, Brother Anansi, why don't you tie the calabash to your back? When Anansi heard this great bit of wisdom coming from such a wee, small child, after he did think that him did collect up all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge and all of the common sense, him was vexed. He was so mad that he threw the calabash on the ground and it burst into 1,000,000 pieces. And all of the wisdom, all of the knowledge, all of the understanding, all of the common sense was picked up by a great and mighty wind, and it was blown back all around the world to every country, every continent, every boy, every girl, every man, every woman got a little bit of that common sense. That is why we all need each other. We have to listen to one another. We all have some wisdom. We all have some common sense. We all have some good advice to share. It is Anansi who made this. Jack Mandora may not choose none. Anansi and common sense. That last part about Jack Mandora, that's at the end of all the Anansi stories. The Jamaicans and the Africans, because these stories are really African stories that were brought to Jamaica that my grandmother shared with me. But these stories, the people who told these stories believe that Jack Mandora was the keeper of Heaven's Gate. And so just in case these stories were not true, when you get there, you want Jack to know, hey, I didn't write this story. I didn't make this up. I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay, so I'm just telling you what I heard. I didn't make it up. So if it's not true, you can't charge me with that. All right, so that was an Anansi story. Thank you for listening. While we're in Jamaica, why don't we go ahead and do a little Bob Marley? I'm sure you guys might know this song, Three Little Birds. It just talks about don't worry about a thing. All right, so if you know it, sing along. If you want to stand up and dance, feel free. We're just enjoying this evening in a nice dry barn. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing it with me. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, each by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Why? 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. I won't worry, singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds, each by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Sing it with me, come on. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing, no, every little thing is gonna be alright. In spite of the rain, we're still having fun. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing, no, every little thing is gonna be alright. Let's sing it again. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing, no, every little thing is gonna be alright. Let's do it again. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Oh, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah, We won't worry, don't worry about a thing. I won't worry about a thing, no, every little thing is gonna be alright. God's in control, don't worry. Thank you. All right, I got time for one more. Can we do In This Life? All right. Thank you all for letting me be here. This is awesome. Thank you, Steph. Put a little love in your heart for your fellow man, and share with him all of the blessings that God has given you. Oh, remember the poor and the needy, and help them in every way you can, and brighten the lives of others, yeah, in this life. Now get on your knees and ask the Lord to guide you in this life. And He will surely, He'll walk beside you in this life. Oh, now things are not always as they should be, but pray for peace, peace and harmony. There is no limit to what we can do, yeah, in this life. Oh, comfort a friend who's burning down. Welcome a stranger who's in your town. The light of a candle can brighten the darkest night. Oh, things are not always as they should be, but pray for peace, peace and harmony. There is no limit to what we can do, yeah, in this life. There is no limit. There is no limit. Yeah. There is no limit. If God is in it, there is no limit. No, 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 no limit to what we can do. No limit. No, 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 no limit what we can do. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you so much. It was my treat. It was a pleasure, an honor to be here with you.